and welcome to i24 News Sports Daily Magazine with all the latest scores and stories from around the world. Tuesday evening, a very eventful show ahead, and these are the headlines. Exactly 100 days are left till the World Cup begins. Ronaldo is already in a festive mood, but there are various challenges for the organizers to tackle ahead of the kickoff. Ukraine decided not to play its home-friendly match against the US in Cyprus. If it's not on our soil, said the Ukrainians, then we don't want it at all. We look back at the top 5 goals of the weekend, and there were some beauties. Robben is in, Messi is in, Gabi is in, but who's the number 1? And many surprises and big names for the World Tennis Day. Novak, Djokovic and Andy Murray play and take some selfies at the Madison Square Garden. Hello again, and thank you for joining us. We are live from the Jaffa Port. We begin with breaking news out of Barcelona. Just a short time ago, the team's captain, Carles Puyol, announced he will leave the team at the end of the season. Puyol, who will turn 36 next month, convened a special news conference to deliver his message. He is the captain of the team for nearly a decade and wore the first team's Blaugrana jersey 593 times. Only one player in history, his teammate Xavi, played more games for Barcelona. Puyol did not say what his next destination might be, but rumors of a possible move to the MLS or the Persian Gulf have already surfaced. 100 days. That is the time left until the kickoff of the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. The fans around the world are already thrilled with anticipation for the greatest sporting event in the world, but there are still serious challenges ahead for the organizers, Oriban reports.
There is a carnival atmosphere in Brazil these days as the country counts down 100 days to the start of the 2014 World Cup. Even Ronaldo dropped by for some carnival fun in Sao Paulo as part of his activities as an ambassador for the tournament. However, not everything is fun and games, as the South American giant still faces problems before the games begin on June 12th. Not all the stadiums are prepared, and the arena de Baixada in Coritiba was saved by the bell before their right to host the games was provoked. The stadium preparations are still in process and time is running out, even though FIFA executives are still optimistic.
At the end of the day, Brazil's image in the World Cup will be delivered by what people see here during the World Cup. And in terms of stadiums, they will see 12 beautiful stadiums, modern stadiums.
Stadium readiness is not the only issue Brazil has to deal with. The ongoing protests in the country opposing the World Cup continue as the voices get louder by the day.
We want education, health, security, the basics that the government has always refused to give us in Brazil.
I don't want any more protests until the government understands that we don't want the World Cup. We have other priorities in this country.
While the protests continue in Sao Paulo, the Rio de Janeiro police hold drills simulating violent protests which are expected to take place during the tournament, all part of a no-nonsense approach by the Brazilian government concerning its security measures.
Our preoccupation is to prevent violent actions during the protests. In that way, we have adopted a series of techniques so that, I repeat it, we can guarantee the legitimacy of the peaceful and organized protests, so we can forbid any act of vandalism or violence.
Brazil has a long way to go till everything is said and done, and even though the road looks rocky now, in 3 months, 32 teams will take part in football's biggest event, and the country will keep on dancing to the samba beat.
Now to our top 5 goals from this past weekend, something you do not want to miss. The big derby of Athens, Olympiacos hosting Panathinaikos, and the visitors surprisingly win 3-0, and they also get our number 5 for this beautiful free kick by Madi Abidi. It will not help the team in green to win the championship as Olympiacos holds a 19-point lead at the top, but it's always nice to beat your biggest rival on their home ground. It seems like Pep Guardiola took his tiki-taka from Barcelona to Munich. Bayern beat Schalke 5-1, and Arjen Robben, who scored a hat-trick, gets our number 4. It's all those little 1-2 touches that made Barcelona so dominant. Now it's in Germany, and as it seems, no one in Europe is able to stop it. Number 3 comes from Holland. PSV Eindhoven were down 2-0 at halftime against go-ahead Eagles, but everything changed after the break. Memphis Depay with a superb shot brings PSV back to business. the Eindhoven club won 3-2 eventually, which means they still have a chance to qualify for next year's Champions League. Leo Messi will have to get used soon to life without Puyol, but as long as the veteran captain is around, Messi is enjoying himself. The Argentine gets her number 2 for the beautiful free kick against Almeria. Barcelona cruised to a 4-1 victory, trademark goal for Messi, but just short of our number 1. The winner this week is Gabi, the Atletico Madrid captain who stunned Diego Lopez and Real Madrid with this incredible 35-meter strike to put Atletico up top right before halftime. Unbelievable, thinks Cholo Simeone, so does the crowd at the Vicente Calderón. Atletico Madrid putting up a fight this season with great character and amazing goals. The World Cup is 3 months away. Many friendly matches will take place tomorrow. However, one match seems to be cancelled: Ukraine against the United States. Ukraine was scheduled to host the match in Krakow. However, due to the political turmoil in the country, the game was moved to Cyprus following the American request. Now the match remains in question following various reports that Ukraine will not travel to Cyprus and called off the game due to the current situation. However, the U.S. Football Federation claims that the match will go ahead as planned. While this match might be off, another match is set to make history. The Kosovo national football team will make its international debut as the Balkan nation will host Haiti in a friendly match. This game will be played following a long struggle by Kosovo that fought for the right to play matches. With sports being isolated for 3 decades as a result of war and political limbo, football will finally be played in the region. Although Kosovo are not members of FIFA, they can now stage friendlies against FIFA members as long as no national symbols, including flags, are displayed or national anthems are played. If you work hard, you will become a successful athlete, so they say. Well, here's another secret: have an athlete for a parent. Some of today's big stars are sons and daughters of former stars, raising the question, is it only hard work or are genes responsible as well? Lise Barenboim tries to answer.
Genetics often play a major part in sporting talent. One example is the 19-year-old football talent Enzo Zidane, who is following in his father's footsteps. The young Zidane has been summoned to France's national under-21 team, and perhaps this may be the beginning of a promising career.
Many of them will make great careers. We might have to wait a bit, but it's true that this generation is very promising.
Like his father, Enzo is right-handed, plays at the playmaker position, and wears the number 10 jersey. In sports, there are many sons of. The level of talent may vary, but the passion is often passed from generation to generation. In the Djorkaeff family, Jean preceded his son Yuri in the French national football team. The same goes for Italy, where the Maldini dynasty reigns in football. Cesare and his son Paolo have won the Champions League for AC Milan within a 40-year gap. Cesare even trained Paolo in the Italian national team from 1996 to 1998. Finally, there's a third Maldini, the grandson Christian. One of the most interesting sports tribes is the Noah family. The grandfather Zachary was a football player, Yannick the father was a famous tennis player, and now the grandson Joaquin is an NBA All-Star. Some football players encourage their children to follow their way from a very young age. This is the case of David Beckham, who marvels at his son's Brooklyn's feats. The 15-year-old teen has trained in Manchester United, the club that launched his father's illustrious career. Sometimes, talent can affect all siblings. This is the case of the 3 Dufour-Lapointe sisters from Canada. The sisters competed at the Sochi Winter Olympics in the ski jumping category, and 2 of them even stood on the podium.
I'm so proud of my 3 daughters. The determination they had been showing us, it's totally amazing and it's incredible.
However, it's not always easy to bear a famous family name. While Enzo Zidane prefers to play under his mother's surname Fernandez, a football fan decided to adopt Michel Platini's family name and even opened a museum dedicated to the legendary player.
I started the museum in 1997. It was my dream because I was a fan of Platini from a very young age. People used to call me Gold Platini. For this reason, I got the idea. I researched it, and I decided in the future I will be a collector of things for this man. Michel Platini is the best player of all times.
Even though Michel Platini's son Laurent preferred to become a lawyer instead of a footballer, one thing can be sure. the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and sports legacies will continue one way or another.
Now to the NBA, and if anyone had some questions as to who the MVP of the regular season should be, LeBron James gave quite an answer, scoring 61 points against Charlotte, his personal best. He scored 25 points in the third quarter alone, 8 of 10 from the three-point range, also adding 7 rebounds and 5 assists. But as big as his personal achievement may be, LeBron is kind enough to thank his team.
It means everything in the sense that, first of all, I was able to do it in a win. Second of all, I probably had, I would say, 3 or 4 just heat check shots where, out of rhythm and just taking them. And third, for me to be able to do it with a group of guys that I just would do anything for means more than means so much. These guys are really true brothers of mine, and to be able to have accomplishments like that, in front of my brothers, man, it means so much.
Now to the action on the court. The Brooklyn Nets had a disappointing start to their debut season at the Barclays Center, but things are now slowly changing. There were great expectations from a team with veteran all-stars like Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett, and with the big money Russian billionaire owner Mikhail Prokhorov poured in, but the Nets, together with the Knicks, look to be taking the Big Apple to a dismal basketball season. While the Knicks are still down there, their Brooklyn boys are now finally finding their tempo and are deep in playoff zone. They hosted the Chicago Bulls, and though the visitors kept it close in the first half, Brooklyn always looked to be in control. They led by 8 at halftime, and the gap only grew in the third quarter. Jerome Williams showed all his moves, whether it's in the paint or behind the arc, nothing but net, and it's already a 12-point game. The Nets won it 96-80 and are now on 50%, 29 wins of 58 games for the first time since early November. The real emotion at the end came when Jason Collins joined the game for the first time on his home floor. His original 10-day contract expires tonight, but the Nets already announced a new contract will be signed on Wednesday. We mentioned the Knicks, who play across the bridge in Manhattan, but last night their iconic Madison Square Garden took on some other stars from another sport. The world of tennis usually comes to New York only in late August for the US Open at the Flushing Meadows, but for the World Tennis Day, the floor of the MSG, usually used for basketball and ice hockey, became a tennis court for an exhibition match between Novak Djokovic and Andy Murray. Both lost their semifinals last week in their respective tournaments, Djokovic in Dubai and Murray in Acapulco, but they came in good spirits to the game. Their competitiveness moved aside this time to give room to the all-popular selfies that are very fast, found their way to their Twitter account. They are exceptional tennis players. Not so sure we can say that about their photographic abilities. Oh, there was the game also. Djokovic won it 6-3, 7-6.
6-3, 7.
This was not the only contribution of the Murray family to the World Tennis Day. Judy Murray, Andy's mother, participated in a record-breaking tennis lesson with 406 children participating. The lesson took place at the training ground in Flushing Meadows. Judy Murray is the captain of the British Federations Cup team, and even if she was somewhat disappointed by the result at the Madison Square Garden, she had a very big role in the success of the World Tennis Day. And another great meeting in this World Tennis Day, one of the biggest rivalries dating back to the 90s, Andre Agassi against Pete Sampras. It took place in Earl's Court in London, the same city where the two faced each other in classic encounters at Wimbledon. One of them, in 1999, was the final. Sampras won it. Sampras also holds the overall lead, 20-14 in the head-to-head count, but not this time. Agassi was better. He won the first set 6-3, and despite a good run by his old-time rival in the second, Agassi was able to win that one also. The set was close, but not the tiebreak. Agassi wins 6-3 and 7-6. The 2014 MotoGP season is quickly approaching. The first race is just 2.5 weeks away, and the riders are in the last stages of preparations. Yamaha's Jorge Lorenzo was the fastest rider at Phillip Island, Australia, as the 3-day MotoGP tire safety test got underway. The riders and teams are working on tire durability and have a specific schedule to follow over the 72 hours. Almost all the big names traveled down under to participate, almost, because one was missing. World champion Marc Marquez, who is still recuperating from his right leg injury sustained while training. The world champion and his team believe he will be ready on time for the first race on March 23rd in Qatar. It's been 7 months since Barcelona visited Israel and the West Bank, but the club from Catalonia is still taking interest in our region. Palestinian school children in the village of Kfar Sur near Tulkarem received footballs from Barcelona as replacements for their balls which were lost over the separation fence between the West Bank and Israel. Barcelona heard about the youngsters' plight when one of them, Mahmoud Abid, wrote a letter to the United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon asking for help to regain their lost leather. And that's it for today. Thank you for being with us. Don't forget you can watch us anytime on our website at i24news.tv. We're also on Facebook and on Twitter. See you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.